Hello world, welcome to another installment of the Buggy-sama Fan Club. That is the fan club, the official one actually.
We're pretty unofficial.
No, we're the official fan club. Now, to continue, my name is Jahan. I'm here with
Alex.
And our special guest.
All the way from Japan.
Oh my god! How did he have time in his day for us? Johnny.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
Now, in the Buggy-sama Fan Club, the reason that we do this is because, let's face it, there's so much more to talk about in manga than people think. Like, oh, that was a cool punch to the face. No one cares about the punch to the face. Why did he punch that motherfucker in the face? That's what we're here for, alright? Now, there's so many freaking mangas and shit we can talk about. We ain't gonna talk about all that. I want to talk about, that porno manga I read the other day. But, none of that. We're gonna talk about the main three mangas that everybody's talking about.
What's going on right now? I don't know.
We're talking about Naruto, we're talking about Bleach, and we're talking about One Piece.
Well, not today,
Except
though.
I'm a liar, because we're not talking about Naruto or Bleach today. Today is the One Piece special, because we're not going to have One Piece for 2 goddamn weeks. Now, unfortunately, we were not able to hit One Piece in our first video, so we're going to have to make up for it with extra One Piece time now.
This is a podcast.
I'm sorry, a podcast. Now, we got to talk about the One Piece because it's... Face it, we're the Buggy-sama Fan Club. This is our calling card. Oda is like the Jordan of freaking manga writing. We gotta do it, man. We just gotta do it. So now, this week's episode, or it already passed, but this week's episode is called Forward, Ruffian Army.
It's not an episode, it's a chapter. We're talking about the manga.
God.
Okay, readers. There's no video out there to look for, and we're not talking about the anime. Or not readers, I'm sorry, listeners. We're just failing on every level, man.
Dude, come on, man. I don't know why you gotta get technical with this anyway, man. They know what we're saying. The chapter is 749 of One Piece, and kind of a lot of stuff happened. We had Luffy.
Per usual.
A lot of stuff always happened.
Yeah.
We had Luffy take out Stone Pika. We had regular Pika come out, and Zoro go, "You got a sword? Me too, bruh," and get down. And we got freaking a huge reveal that Doflamingo, his younger brother, was he the executive of the
Heart family, yeah.
Of the Don Quixote family, wasn't it?
No. The Don Quixote family is the entire family, but he's specifically the leader of the Heart clan.
Executive, the top executive of the Don Quixote family.
That's what Diamante is now. There's 4 executives, but Corazon used to be the leader of all 4 of them. So he was Doflamingo's right hand man.
Okay,
that's what he's saying.
Okay, so and then his brother Corazon saved freaking Law's face, and he was murdered by Doflamingo. So now that is the story, and we will begin.
Allegedly.
That is allegedly the story. I'm sure it's the story though. All right, now to begin, my boy Alex has something to start us off with.
I do? What am I starting off with? What about you, John? Don't you usually have some sort of opening topic?
I wanted to point out. I wanted to point out that the title this week is super punny. And do you think that was the translator's pun or the author's pun?
I'm not seeing a
Just
pun
for fun.
here.
Like it's like Luffy's army, right? Ruffian army, right?
So,
is that what you're saying?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, man.
Ruffian obviously means like ragtag.
Yeah.
Trash.
Random ass, ghetto ass, hood rat ass army, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like Compton's basically.
Compton army.
Like a Compton, civilian
like
defense
the Compton
force,
of this
really.
universe. All of these guys occupy that city.
Well, I don't know. I mean, does anyone really care?
All right, the shots have been fired, my friends. The shots have been fired.
Always trying to burn us. Always trying to bring us down.
All right, now the Ruffian army. Yeah, it's actually.
That's pretty funny. I mean, I gotta give credit to whoever did that.
the translator, like, because I'm pretty sure, like, Oda was not thinking of Luffy and Army when he made this title in Japanese. I don't know what it would be. So yeah, that is punny. Good job to the translators. You're getting bonus points that Oda never gave to you, but nice.
We'll give it to you guys. So
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Golf clap for you. All right. Now, one thing that I wanted to just bring up before we start is did Pika always have a sword? Because he just whips out like the katana of all katanas out of nowhere. Really.
I'm not sure if we ever saw him. No, I don't know.
I think it's possible that maybe when they showed I remember they showed like a silhouette of the family, Don Quixote family. Maybe he had a sword in that silhouette. But up to this point, in real time, we haven't seen it.
Okay. Also, I wanted to ask on that topic, do you guys think that Pika is going to be a swordsman in his... Because, Zoro's like considered a swordsman or whatever. Do you think Pika will be a swordsman or just like he has a sword to go along with everything else?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really... I gotta be honest, I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't care either, but that's like...
I'm not really like that stoked about seeing this. I'm more stoked to watch Zoro pwn, because we haven't really gotten to see him be as serious as he can be.
Ever since the time
skip. Right, so the only thing I can hope is that Pika's powers basically push Zoro to a certain sort of limit, or to some sort of standard of fighting, so that we can actually see just how strong he's actually gotten. That's really the only thing I'm concerned about. Otherwise, Pika to me isn't really like he's kind of like a side dish,
Well, because the reason that I bring it up is like we kind of mentioned it in the earlier episode in that like Zoro is always the guy that takes out the
Fights
swordsman.
a sword, yeah.
So are they going with like the significance of like Zoro's going to take out another strong swordsman? Because part of Zoro's goal, the first thing that he mentioned was like, hey, I want to be the best swordsman in the world, and that's not just beating Mihawk. I think that's beating a lot of swordsmen.
Yeah, but I think
I think Pika's equivalent, if you think of it like in RPG terms, he's kind of just like a berserker or something, not really like a finesse swordsman.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that idea.
So he'll definitely be wielding this giant cock of a sword.
Yeah.
Throughout this fight, I think, and maybe using some like cool stone
right.
I don't know. Fighting.
Yeah,
so it should be interesting, but
kind of.
Zoro, I think Zoro will have his hands full finally.
I think I'm more stoked about this fight than you are, Alex. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm a little pretty stoked.
You're more stoked about it. Yeah, I mean, I think it could be interesting if Pika is just kind of like a dirty bastard in the sense that like he doesn't play fair at all, or at least to like the standard of like a swordsman, like
a proper swordsman. Like
and so he uses like he's continuously fucking with the terrain to make sure. So like Zoro really has to be on his toes, actually, and it would, if anything, it would prove just how superior of a swordsman he really is. That he can be dealing with these sort of like terrestrial, like external manipulations while fighting at the same time and conquering this dude is essentially made out of rock. But yeah, I mean, like what I was trying to say was that like I think part of the problem with like I think it's good like you set up and establish these like superior swordsmen way off in the beginning, and now that we've hit like a little bit over the middle of the series, we have this established like people that actually matter in terms of who Zoro needs to defeat, and that's like people like Mihawk and people like Shiryu of the Rain, the Blackbeard swordsman. It's like everything in between is just like you can already kind of write everything off as everything in between now, and I think that's one of the disadvantages you have with this. But at the same time, it's kind of absolutely essential for like a long con story like One Piece. It's like it's always about the very long payoff, I think, with a series.
Yeah, definitely like the development is like super long, but at the end, like what he's trying to get with all this development is like
it's kind of like just pent
works.
up, right?
Yeah.
It's just like you're building and building upon it, and finally
he's charging the spirit bomb.
Yeah, never ending.
Pika's power Paramecia?
I don't know. I think that's kind of up for debate, right? But like, I would feel like it should be, but I mean, it doesn't seem like he is, though.
Dude, it seems like Logia,
it's kind
man.
of Logia.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
Logia.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. It seems like it would be Logia, but I'm getting the feeling that it is Paramecia.
The reason that I'm saying I wouldn't say that it is Logia, because it looks Logia. He became the wall, but like the only reason I would say that But then again, I wouldn't know. But I was gonna say the only reason that like I would say is because like Luffy double fisted him in the face, and like he was just standing
with
there
ornament
fine.
with ornament hockey. That would have definitely wrecked him.
That would have
if that was his
like
body.
if that was anyone else, they would have been on their ass, like not getting up to fight a Zoro. You know, like,
and usually when characters are Logios in this game or not game in the story, it's like very
not
clear.
a game, bro. It's not a game.
It's very clear, right? Like they make Oda makes it a point to point out the fact that certain characters are Logios. It's almost always needed to be talked about.
Someone usually says it. Oh,
yeah, it's a Logia. He's so much more prestige than everyone. Yeah, right. So that's So I feel like, I mean, eventually we'll get to a point where maybe that's not necessary, but I get the feeling he's a Paramecia just from how the character has been established within the story.
Here's something I want to pose on this sort of Paramecia versus Logia debate, or the ambiguity of it. If he's a Paramecia, we've seen that he can basically meld with stone, right? He is this island, essentially, if he wants to be. So does that mean, if he's a Paramecia, can Luffy do the same thing with rubber? If he was to, like, could he actually change the matter of his body
no. Because I think that would be if Luffy's power was the ability to absorb rubber, but that's not what his ability is. I think Pika, his ability is his ability to consume and make what he consumes. He can probably consume earth and make that his body arrangement. I forget, but I remember too. I was like on a thread, and someone looked up the definition of Pika, and I think the definition of Pika
Spicy.
was literally like eating dirt. It's like an okay, hold on. I'm looking it up right now. Actually.
Eating non-food materials such as dirt or paper.
Pika is a persistent eating of substances with no nutrition, such as dirt or paint. So the reason why
in English,
and so the reason why, so the reason why he can turn his body into is because that's specifically what his power is. He eats these things of no nutrients, and he turns into that thing. So maybe he can
turn into anything.
Yeah. So maybe I don't know. I mean, if you were going by the English definition, then yes. There's no doubt that Oda saw the definition of Pika, and that's where he got this idea from. But maybe he's already established the rules as saying like, okay, my character can only eat dirt.
I think he had the idea and then gave the name, but that's what I would think.
Yeah, or maybe you never know with these sort of things. But yeah, I mean, for all we know, maybe he can eat steel as well, but I get the feeling like just to make things more simple, he might just stick with the whole rock thing. But
just to clarify for my own personal thing, when you say he eats it, he's not literally eating it, right? He's like absorbing it.
It seems like he's melding his matter with stone, right?
Like
he's becoming and manipulating the stone.
You remember the first like Incredible Hulk movie that came out in recent years?
The 2008 Edward Norton one?
No, the one before that one.
Oh, the 2000 one?
The shitty one.
Yeah, okay.
The shitty one. And you know the main bad guy there was
the
like
Eric Bana one?
Yeah, the Eric Bana one, exactly. You know how he was just merging with random shit like that he touched and stuff? Like, you guys remember that at all?
Yeah, I remember.
I don't think I ever saw that movie, actually.
Yeah, the main villain would just merge with anything he like touched significantly. Like, the crazy ass motherfucker.
I really hope that's not Pika's power.
Me neither. I'm thinking my best like logical explanation is that he's a Logia and like changes his body into stone that he finds on the shit, dude. I just like unlogic to myself. I don't know what he does, man. This guy's crazy.
I think he just eats dirt and turns into dirt, or I guess rock. I think that's what I think. I don't know. I think that Oda doesn't want to focus on this guy too much. He's just kind of like a build-up, right, for the real grand finale, which is what's gonna happen between Luffy, Law, and Doflamingo. I think that's what we're getting at here. But
well, yeah, he is a side character, but I think he warrants some fun speculation.
Yeah.
He's a top executive, right?
He's a top executive, so he has to be like more than just like another side thing, like more than a throwaway piece. Like anytime, because like there have been other like like top side right hand men that like they haven't used as a throwaway piece that were actually like significant characters,
Robin.
Yeah, Robin, exactly. That's who I was getting at.
No, she's kind of unique, obviously.
she's kind of what now?
She was kind of unique. She was like the greatest you know, the greatest right-hand man to still exist besides like Zoro. Since she was kind of Crocodile's right hand, right?
Yeah.
Mrs. All Sunday, right? That was her name. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
And
But yeah, so this should be a good fight regardless.
Yeah. I'm not doubting that. It's just, you know, I guess I've already written off my excitement, my interest right now. My investment is definitely in this Law backstory and finding out how exactly is Doflamingo. Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Like, I want to know is, like, you know, because almost every single time in this series, right, like, no bad guy really dies, right? And somehow, no matter how cruel and no matter how bad the bad guy gets, like, they come back in a forgivable manner.
yeah, we're recording right now. Good. Yeah, it's good timing.
I'm so sorry. You're recording it?
Yeah, it's recording right now.
You put it on the internet and so let everybody hear it. Oh, yeah, that voice. Weird man. Okay? Put us some...
Hi. Good.
Oh, okay.
근데 전 디너, how
We're
about
just
dinner?
having an interruption fest right now.
저스틴, 디너 어떻게 돼?
We'll go eat.
먹으러 나.
당연하게 먹으러 나가지.
Okay,
이렇게
this
오랫동안
room is
있었는데.
comfortable, the big room.
엄마, we're recording right now,
It's
so.
young.
Okay, never mind. We're not recording apparently.
어디 저기서 안 해?
No. 지금 하고 있는데 엄마가 지금
Okay,
들어오고
anyway,
그러는
okay.
거야.
That
God.
was hilarious.
That
That
was-
was Justin's parents.
That was my parents, everyone.
We're recording at his house.
Special guest Justin's mom and dad, man. Shit.
I kind of want to leave this in the podcast, to be
Dude,
honest, but
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, we should leave that in. That was cool.
My parents are gonna be internet famous, everyone.
okay. Back on track.
What were we talking about?
Oh, right. I was saying, okay, the thing I'm interested in, the thing I want to know is, so, like, every single bad villain, no matter what cruelty they do, always comes back in a sort of redemptive manner. Like with Crocodile, he came back through the prison, and then he actually saves Luffy's life when Jinbei is trying to escape. And this, we see this again and again. No matter what character is being defeated, they always come back in some small, relevant way within the storyline. So I want to know, like, Doflamingo has been kind of like cast as this incredibly unforgivable character. Like, he is the owner of the slave trade within the story, which is one of the biggest central pieces to the whole theme of One Piece in general,
like
which
an
is all
underlying
about
one.
all about equality and you know, what is moral, what is right to do for the people. And I mean, obviously there's a bias about like what that answer is, but yeah, I just want to know, like, you know, how bad is he gonna get? How bad is he really? And what is this backstory gonna tell us? And how is it gonna make us feel about the inevitable return of Doflamingo later on in the story?
Is he
Or
gonna
is
be
he
the
gonna
first
die?
one that
Is
dies?
he gonna be the first one that dies? That's
he gonna
what
be the
I'm
first
interested
one?
in. That's what I want to know. I don't really give a shit about Pika, but but I mean, still at the same time, I don't mind being entertained by this good battle between Pika and Zoro. Like I said, I'm only really, as far as this is concerned, I just want to see how badly is Zoro gonna kick Pika's ass. That's all I'm interested in. How much stronger is he really than the top executive of
and one of the
Doflamingo's
freaking
army?
like most powerful crime families ever. You know, like.
Because I definitely consider Zoro to be one of the most powerful. Like, in
In
my
the story,
mind,
really,
he just feels invincible to me all the time. So I just want to know, like, you know, is he, or how's Oda going to show, if he's not invincible, how's Oda going to show it to us in a sort of acceptable manner? That's what I'm
Because
curious
up till
about.
now, a lot of the times that Zoro's been struggling in a fight is because he was already injured. Like,
Yeah, and
he
he's
was-
not injured at all
yeah,
now. So
he's
he's ready
fresh,
to go.
like,
Yeah,
he
he's
can,
ready
like-
to go. Yeah.
he's 100% right now. He's warmed up too. Like, he can
Yeah.
go put in hurt. And it's interesting that you bring all this up because that.
Shout out to
To.
What?
go ahead, Justin. Sorry.
Okay, it's interesting
Go
that
ahead.
you bring this up because like that theme of like the bad guys coming to help them at the end just happens in like a huge fold in this chapter and the previous one. All the people that fell at the Colosseum are now the ruffian army. Like, that's just, I don't know, man. I don't know if you did that on purpose or what, but that was props, bro.
Shout out to Don Krieg, who's never come back into the series.
Yeah, in his right hand man, the guy with the steel balls, right? He was like it was totally foreshadowed that he would come back and help Sanji someday, right? Because Sanji fed him food,
Right.
and we've never seen that motherfucker.
Right.
Within how many chapters? 750. Shit, man.
Yeah, he's gone, man. He'll make a grand entrance one day at the end of all things.
Oh my god, yeah, he is One Piece, dude. Don Krieg is One Piece.
Dude, I'm
We
not
might
gonna
need to
lie.
consider a name change.
John Krieg was my favorite villain, man. I thought he was the most complete and complex.
He was pretty baller though. His story was interesting. The 100
He was
fleets that.
He was super multi-layered for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys are both right. Justin, you were saying how all of the like ruffians were kind of turned into allies. Yeah, I thought that was intentional and definitely a good thing for Oda to do, because at the time of the Coliseum, actually, at the time of the tournament, I was pretty bored with it, to be honest. And I was like, I knew they would come back, like the characters, but it seemed like just such a waste of time. But I don't know, it's kind of good to see these guys like, on the side of the pirates and fighting in this sort of a free for all like frenzy. So it's cool.
I get what you're saying though. It's like
but that's kind of one of the downsides of reading in real time. I guess if you catch up later, you'll see and read through it quicker. So
yeah, true that. It's just like ultimately like as fun as it is, like does it really matter if these guys are on Luffy's side? Like does it really, like I thought it'd be more interesting actually if anything if these guys were hunting him down, because the bounties that were attached by Doflamingo. But it's like
more than half the island is hunting him.
Right. No, I know, but even these guys, the prestigious guys that Oda felt the need to, say like, oh, these are actual characters that let's remember who they are, and I think ultimately, right, in this, they could totally be like neutral party, or they could even be against him. I don't think it wouldn't actually affect the plot too much. I think. The forward momentum of going to kill Doflamingo. Like, these guys are just, either they're going to be in the way, or they're going to be helping, but in either case, they're not going to actually stop or make things happen. I guess they might make things happen. They might all join together to do something that allows Luffy to go and see Doflamingo. Yeah, in that sense, it might be like, okay, yeah, friendship is relevant to Luffy's success, but it's like, otherwise it's like, even if they weren't there, Oda could easily write a way for the character to get through. And I guess that applies for everything. But I'm just saying it feels more so this way for this specific thing than it does for...
I want to say that I feel like this like ruffian army is way more formidable than people think it is. Because a lot of those fools were like the top dog in their nation, and they came to fight in this tournament. And the reason that they like just got shit on is because like you got guys like Luffy and like guys like the guy from Blackbeard Pirates. Oh, shit, what was his name? Hannibal?
Jesus Burgess.
Yeah, Burgess.
Jesus Burgess.
Oh, where is that guy?
I know, right? Yeah, where is that fool? I feel like I want to see him fucking rounding up.
The island,
no, I want to see him rounding up all the bounties, man. That's what I want to see. That would be scary as shit.
Because he
like,
can.
Yeah, they're just this guy just going around and bounty hunting down all the top dogs.
Extremely
like, imagine the king. Being encountered with Jesus Burgess. Like, I would feel freaked out at that point, because I'd be like, shit, the king's fucked. There's just no way he's gonna be able... There's no way... No, the king. The king of the kingdom.
Riku? I want to see the King Punch guy versus Burgess.
Yeah. The King Punch guys. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
what's his name?
King Punch.
Yeah, King Punch.
King Punch.
Try a new product, King Punch.
Yeah, who cares? The only one I really care about is the Conehead guy. I mean, the guy has Haoshoku-haki, right? He has the king. He's the king's disposition. That's the admiral.
They introduced like history between he and Luffy.
In Chinjiao. Yeah, he's the only one I'm kind of like interested in seeing. Like, otherwise, I do kind of like Idio. I think Idio looks kind of cool. The guy with the rocket punch. I kind of
Idio looks cool,
but he's not interesting though. No one cares. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I like these guys in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I honestly thought it was so strange how into detail Oda was getting with these fools. I was like, who gives a shit when he was like introducing all of them? I was like, how is he gonna tie in any of these people? Like, he introduced like what was it, like 10 people a chapter for like 2 chapters, 3 chapters straight. I was like, fuck.
And he will. I mean, he's gonna funnel them in some sort of slightly relevant way, and it's gonna pay off.
I feel like they're already relevant, like helping Luffy like to push into like, because it would have been harder. It wouldn't have been impossible, but it would have been harder for Luffy to just push into this fucking place without these fools like just taking everyone out, you know?
I don't think so. Because Luffy is like rubber. He could slingshot himself all the way to the top of Pika's large body.
But he's taking this cow and Law with him.
Yeah, but does he need it though?
Yeah,
like,
well, it's part of the story.
He doesn't need it, you know. Like he can run faster than this cow if he wanted to. Yeah. That's the thing.
In fact, they show him doing that.
Yeah, so he carries the fucking cow just for the hell of it. So if anything, this is just showing us how Luffy deals with chaos. He loves it, you know.
Guys.
What's that?
Cow for new Nakama. IMO. Usi.
I'm finding it harder and harder to not like. I mean, obviously this is a very bad call, but it's just like. Law feels like he should be a Nakama at this point because they're setting up his like his sob story, and
they said it actually.
What?
Luffy.
Oh
he's
yeah,
like, don't fuck with that guy. That's my Nakama.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously he's just gonna be an ally. He's just too strong to be a part of the crew. But like, I just feel like
he's not gonna be on the crew, guys.
Yeah, no, I know, because there's already a doctor and everything. But like, it's just like the attention that we've been putting into him as a character. I guess it's enough to just set him aside as a really reliable ally. He's kind of like the Gaara of One Piece, right? Kind of like setting himself up like that a little bit.
The audience loves him as an ally and will always accept him as such, I think.
Yeah, and we'll always know
until the inevitable like spat that'll happen. But for now, we all love Law like an ally. So that's good. But here's something I wanted to post to you guys. I was looking at the chapter and on the subject of the cow. When they're running up the arm, actually, two guys are on the cow with them. Right?
Yeah, Abdul and Joe. Yeah. So,
do you guys think there is anything like? Do they have some motive? Are they going to try and betray Luffy? Like, what are they doing? Like, what do you think?
They were originally introduced as assassins, right? From like a distant land.
Yeah, I think so.
I
feel like every other character here is an assassin of some sort.
Yeah, and I know Oda likes to do like random shit for humor, but I know he's also smarter than to just throw these guys on for humor. You know, like they have to have some sort of significance to them being on this cow, which they could have fallen off like multiple times, and Luffy could easily have just gotten rid of them multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like the first few pages, they literally like grab onto the cow as he makes his charge. Like they intentionally are on this journey.
Are they really? Let's backtrack there. I want to see that.
Where does that happen? Is it page 6 of the manga?
Oh, that's not it. Page 6? Oh, okay.
Oh, there they are. I didn't even notice him. See him? He's grabbing on.
Yeah.
Everyone else is kind of clearing the way, getting ready to fight the fodder, Ideo and all those guys. But these guys, I'm wondering if they have some kind of malintent.
Maybe I personally, maybe they do, but I just feel like maybe it's just because they're weaker than the rest of them, and so they're just kind of hanging on to whatever the hell they can because a giant fist just came in and destroyed everything. You know, it's like
and it does add to the chaos of the situation that these guys are just like, dude, just hold on for dear life, man. Like this cow's like, where did this cow come from?
But yeah, maybe I don't know. Who knows? But I feel like, personally speaking, if they were there for malintent, like I would, if they were actually able to influence the progression of the plot in terms of Luffy encountering Doflamingo in any sort of significant way, I would personally feel irritated, just because I'm not interested in these guys whatsoever, and I just don't care. I don't care about whether or not anything. I don't care what happens to them really. So it's like
you are like
cares not for your lack of care.
They haven't. I guess they haven't been established enough as a reason for me to feel like there was any sort of payoff in terms of narrative, if they actually succeeded in doing anything, and maybe like help Luffy along the way a little bit, but otherwise I just want to get to like the main entree, you know.
Even that I feel like won't happen for a little while, but
yeah, it's probably not going to happen until like July.
At least 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
At least 2 weeks, yes. Technically, yes. But I don't know, just something I wanted to point out to you guys. I noticed, like, why are they on the cow? It could be a self-preservation thing, but it could also be something else. Who knows? We'll see.
By the way, a little like side thing to go back to last chapter. How awesome did you guys think it was when when the King Punch and the head guy like took on the fist of Pika? I thought that was like a huge turn. Or I thought that was unexpected. I thought it was gonna be Luffy being like, "I got this," and taking out this guy's arm. With these two fools, like that's what I was saying earlier. Like these guys are making a bigger difference than people give them credit for. Like
I definitely went from half chub to full chub when I read that 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think they're making a pretty big difference. And if it was just all chaos and everyone was fighting each other like the tournament, I think that would severely impede Luffy's ability to
oh
go.
hell yeah!
I think like I wasn't really surprised at all that the Cone Chinjao was able to do what he did. Though, like if anything, he should have been able to do it himself because he was able to take on Luffy on some level. The guy has the King's disposition. Is able to crack like an iceberg the size of a country with his head. Like it's just, I mean, that was like I said, Chinjao's the only one I actually really care about because Oda actually devoted a decent amount of time and gave him a backstory. Otherwise, like I don't know, these other guys I'm just not too into. They're just I'm glad that they're helping my main boy Luffy out, but whether or not they like even survive this circumstance, I don't really care that much.
I'm interested to see everyone's fate. I think
Yeah, I mean, I think
besides Don Krieg.
I think I think like in a way that I would care, right, is if like they actually like are sacrificing and they help Luffy to do his thing because they want to show their appreciation for God Usopp, right? That's what they've been saying.
I think in a sense they are right now.
Right.
Anyone
No. He was saying it. No, they were saying like, oh, like that's so. It's so appropriate of God's allies, is what like I think Abdul and what's his face said, something.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, yeah, like a good way for me to care about him is like at the end, right after all the dust has settled, like one of the Marine admirals or something like Sakazuki shows up and he's got one of those guys who helped him out, and he literally melts his face off for like he interrogates him to the point where he gets as much information as he can about the One Piece crew, and he just obliterates the shit out of the guy. That would make me care. Like I'd be like, oh shit, that really sucks because they tried to do a good thing. They tried to do like a sort of upstanding sort of hero sort of way, and they got punished for it, and that would suck because that's the universe they live in, right? It's like dog eat dog, and like if you want to do what you want to do, you have to like have the strength to be able to do it. Is what's often reinforced, and so I don't know. That would be a good way for me to care about it. But otherwise, it's like they can do whatever the hell they want.
they're just part of the fun of the story. That's how I see it. So.
I agree.
Jayhan, anything to add?
I did have something. Didn't like Luffy like rearrange Chinjao's head?
Yeah, he fixed the cone. He didn't have the cone. And Chinjao was angry because Garp destroyed his cone head. And so what ended up happening was Luffy used his Armament Haki against Chinjao's Armament Haki head, and he managed to reshape his head to have the cone back.
So it went from no cone to cone.
It went from cone to no cone to back to having a cone.
Okay, I was confused.
Yeah. And he was happy about that, and so
that's why.
Yeah, and so now he's Luffy's ally.
All right, makes sense.
Yeah, and I remember even like after the fight, they were talking about it, and he was like, "Yep, I'll be in debt to this guy for forever." Yeah. So that there was never any speculation that guy would be helping in this scenario, but all these other guys, for me, it's fun to see them kind of lash out. It's good stuff.
So, do you think that Law was part of the Don Quixote family?
He was.
Like legit?
Yeah, he was. And then he left. That's why his pirate flag is basically Doflamingo's flag, but in reverse and with an X across it.
I never noticed that.
This was established like a long time ago in the story that he was part of the Don Quixote family.
I had no idea.
I think if you mean, was he like one of the top 4 guys? No.
No, he wasn't. Because he was still a noob at the time.
If he was he an ally of, or like he basically worked for Doflamingo.
He was in the crew. He was in the crew, and then he left after Corazon got slaughtered.
If you think of it like a mafia, I guess Law was like just a grunt, kind of just like an errand boy and then this guy Corazon, who would be like the consigliere or the right hand man or the advisor to the Don Quixote. Wow, hey, that worked out really well for me.
I think the parallels to Doflamingo and Mafias have been established like a while back ago.
No, I know, but I just mean in terms of my pun there.
This right here?
Yeah.
Don Quixote.
Or I'm sorry, I meant that it was very similar. Oh, there is the cross is on Doflamingo's flag though, not on Law's. Doflamingo's is a smiley with an X or with a.
Okay. I don't think it's that similar.
It's pretty similar. People have been pointing it out. Actually, people were pointing it out before this whole thing even happened. They were saying, I think that Law is somehow related story-wise to Doflamingo because look at their flags; they're very similar. I remember reading threads that were there were like spoiler / speculation threads that were bringing up the idea.
Well, that's basically been confirmed now. So
yeah, you know what? Actually, when I was reading the most recent thread, and someone posted up this guy's post from like several months ago, where he was the guy had foretold that Corazon, like that would be his name, and that he would be Doflamingo's brother, and that he was the person who looked out for Law. And I forget what his reasoning was, but I know he knew that the name would be Corazon because that's like Latin or Spanish or something for heart.
Spanish.
Yeah, for heart. So like, and then
The Heart Pirates.
yeah, and then that's why Law calls himself the Heart Pirates is because this guy died for his sake. Which
who
and
was
Law
he
pulls
referring
hearts out of
to?
people.
Like a while back, Law was like, "Oh, I will avenge you," or "Sorry, someone."
it was like something totally different though. It wasn't
Yeah,
Corazon.
it wasn't-
It was like
it wasn't
something. It was
Corazon
like
at all.
something San. But maybe that's his real name though. You know.
Was it like Koro-san or something?
Yeah.
Oh
it was,
yeah,
it
that's
was,
it.
Yeah.
Koro-san.
Corazon.
Koro-san.
Oh, that's funny.
That's why.
That's
why the guy
that's
thought
funny. That's funny. Like Corazon and Koro-san.
Koro-san.
Koro-san. Like yeah.
Koro-san.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very funny.
Okay.
Right.
All right, so we've been talking for about 37 minutes now. Do you want to do a real quick hypothetical versus sort of thing, or do you want to just keep speculating and talking?
Sure, if you've got some hypothetical thing, hit us.
Hypothetical matchup, okay? Who would win in a fight? Luffy in the very beginning of the story or Usopp now?
Nothing that Usopp shoots can hurt Luffy.
I don't know about that. I mean, they have sharp teeth.
Now, when you say Luffy at the beginning of the story, do you mean literally
Like
child
literally
Luffy?
no. I mean like in the first chapter where he sails off into the on his
Okay.
boat.
'Cause I was gonna say, yeah, Usopp would dominate child Luffy, but
I think
17-year-old
Usopp now. I think Usopp now would win.
Yeah, I think so too. So let me ante it up a little bit then. Luffy at the very end of pre-time skip versus Usopp now. Who would win in that fight?
Luffy would.
No. Hold on. I didn't give my answer for the first one.
You don't get an answer.
No, go ahead. Okay.
my opinion doesn't count. I think Luffy would win
You think Luffy would
Because-
win at the very beginning of the series versus Usopp
Yes,
now?
yes.
Okay.
because throughout the series, Usopp hasn't changed. He's always been a coward,
He's
and
Still the same
he's
character.
shown that he can be kind of like he uses some trickery in his fights. And if he were to fight Luffy, who holds back not at all, he just goes balls out from day one. I think that alone would intimidate and defeat Usopp.
No,
But
but
you
I'm
said
talking
trickery.
I'm talking about like the need to duke it out to the end though. You know what I mean? Like when these characters are pushed to their limits at the point they were at in the story, I want to know like who would win in that battle. We're not talking about whether or not Usopp would just like leave and run because he's just a coward.
Yeah, because he obviously would. Let's say like
So you mean if we disregard all personality traits?
no, because personality does come into a fight, but I'm saying that even if Usopp was like scared out of his mind from someone, at some point he still comes back to fight them. He still goes for it. Like, so even though like
At some
Usopp would run
point-
around
at
and
some point. But Luffy never wavers, is my point.
that's
So
true.
I think I'd have to edge Luffy.
But I would give edge to Usopp because Usopp at this point knows a lot of fucking tricks. And
Okay,
he said
I
he's
think-
tricky as hell. And Luffy is not very smart. He's like very.
That's
easily
true too.
tricked.
Yeah, and then so that could totally dominate Luffy as well. But you know what? I think we're getting away from the spirit of the subject, which is who's stronger. So let's just say that two things are on the line. One thing is on the line for each character. So for like Luffy, I guess at that point in time it'd be like a huge stack of meat. If you can beat down this guy, you get a huge stack of meat. I think that's like all he would need. And with Usopp, it's like if you don't beat Luffy, what's his name? Or what's her name? The woman that was on the island that he kind of liked. If her life
gave him the 1,000 cent. No. The
Going Mary, yeah. So like if that was on the line, right? So these characters have things on the line to fight. Who would win?
Luffy.
You think Luffy's stronger than Usopp is right now? That is
Yeah.
so sad for Usopp right now, man. That's sucks for him. I don't think so,
Only-
man. Because think about it, like Luffy had to exert energy to beat Buggy at the beginning of the story. You know, like I think Usopp could like clear like I don't know. He could wipe the floor against Buggy. Or even Morgan, Captain Morgan, the very first like villain the first big villain that Luffy takes on, like he had to exert some amount of effort to beat him. And I feel like Usopp would just shoot one green pop, and like that would be the end of the story, you know?
Because even though like Usopp's like a bitch and all that, he still shits on Small Fry. And I don't want to say it like this, but at the time in the story, like Luffy was having trouble with Small Fry. Like those guys are technically Small Fry, dude. Like those like Buggy.
I'm having trouble separating the men from their abilities. So, but I understand your question, and I would say if you take this situation in a vacuum, you have like if you put it in a video game setting, Usopp's stats now are far and above better than Luffy's stats at level 1, right?
Yeah,
Usopp is like level 45
yes,
sniper, and Luffy was like a level 5 warrior, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the stats would win, but where my sort of reluctance to give Usopp the edge is that Luffy never gives up in a fight, and Usopp is such a coward.
Yeah. Okay, fine, point taken.
But you know.
So fine. Stats wise, then we're talking stats, right? Video game stats wise, who would win, Usopp right now or Luffy at the end of pre-time skip?
Between who and who? Say that again.
Luffy at the end of pre-time skip versus Usopp right now. So like at the very end of pre-time skip. So like I guess Luffy at the end of the war.
I think Luffy would win.
You think Luffy would be?
Luffy, no doubt.
Yeah, Luffy would win then. Because Usopp now is like really strong.
He had Gear 3 at the time too.
He did have Gear 3. Like what I think is Usopp wouldn't be able to hit him. Like Luffy was like really fast with that shit. Yeah.
I see. That's a good debate. I would want to see that battle actually, because I kind of consider Usopp to be pretty strong now.
And even if you say that Usopp has like the range,
he should be stronger.
So does Luffy. Like Luffy's like little like air punch things.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's basically a Gatling gun, man. What Luffy can do now is a Gatling gun, like exact same
jet pistol
potency.
shots. Like
it's crazy. And Usopp can't fire off shots that quickly unless he's like Ski.
That's a very good point, actually.
He probably has like a little thing that he shoots that fires off shots that quickly, like a projectile that shoots more projectiles.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah, he has like a pop green that splits into like a million pieces.
Yeah, like that one.
He does. He has the one that does shuriken stars.
Man, I don't remember his pop greens. I remember the ones that like turn into big plants that like eat people, but that's about it.
Okay.
But that's a good hypothetical.
Okay, here's another one then. Okay, well on this subject then, since pre-time skip Luffy beat Usopp, like. Okay, you know what? Hold on. What about? I was gonna ask Sanji right now versus pre-time skip Luffy, but I think that one's kind of pretty easy. I think Sanji would win too. I don't know. What do you think? Sanji right now versus at the end of the pre-time skip Luffy.
Because I would say that Sanji didn't just learn how to cook better food. He got like stronger too, like running away from all those foods.
Yeah, and he can use hockey too now. So there's that as well.
He could actually hurt Luffy. That's right.
Yeah.
What do you think, Justin?
Right now, Sanji versus a pre-time skip Luffy. Well, I can say one thing that we haven't seen Sanji really fight since the time skip.
He did get owned though. His leg got owned by what's his face?
By Duffy.
Burger Man. Oh yeah, by Dofi too. He got owned by Dofi, but he got owned by the guy who has
but
burger on his face.
Doflamingo is like.
Yeah, he's like on his own thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, but there's a guy with a burger on his face. What was his name again? The guy who can like turn his entire
Virgo.
body. Virgo. Yeah, he got his leg owned by Virgo, and his leg is the strongest thing that he has. Right.
Yeah.
That was kind of a bummer to me.
I think Sanji could really benefit from learning that style of fighting that the Cypher Pole people use.
He kind of does though, right? He can
He
run.
kind of does, but it's not like, it hasn't been drilled into him. I think he could really benefit from that.
Yeah, definitely. I think anyone could, right?
Yeah, but I mean him especially. He's got like such a solid foundation of like a fighting style that's pretty. It would really meld well with that. Like Kobe's gonna surpass him in like a couple years.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point too.
And Kobe's like getting all down with that.
Oh yeah,
Fighting style.
Colby, dude. I totally forgot about him. He's probably gonna come back like big time strong too.
Yeah, he's gonna be a beast.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting sort of subjects, like, I've been pondering. Like, who's going to be... I mean, granted, it's not going to be an exact parallel, but let's face it, like, Oda likes to do parallels in the series. So, like, who's going to be the Garp for Luffy? Is it going to be Smoker, or is it going to be... I mean, Smoker's been, like, owned, too, though, recently, I don't have a whole ton of respect for him anymore, even though he was such a force in the beginning.
Garp for Luffy?
No. Who's going to be the Garp for Luffy in the sense that Garp was for Roger, is what I'm trying to get at. So is it going to be like, is it going to be...
is it Garp to Garp for Luffy?
Is it gonna be Smoker, or is it gonna be what's his name? Kobe?
Kobe?
Kobe? Yeah, Kobe.
Kobe!
Oh yeah, Kobe and Helmeppo, that's what it was. So yeah, it's Kobe for sure.
I think it's gotta be Kobe.
Yeah.
Or it would be, if... Yeah, actually, I'll go ahead and, I'll say on the record it'll be Kobe.
On the record?
On the record.
Oh, it's officially recorded, guys. Our special guest John Garcia has claimed that Kobe will be the freaking Garp for him.
Kobe's got that special hockey too. The fourth version of it, not just the. He doesn't have the King's Disposition, but he has the one that can hear the voice of all things.
The mantra.
Well, mantra is the disposition of There's the armament one, and then there's the color of observation. That's the mantra one.
But isn't mantra a step above that? That's what I was assuming.
No, I don't think so, because the only person who had that was the little girl. Not even Enel had that, because Enel was only able to do it on a significant scale because his Logia fruit specifically was beneficial for his observation hockey, and that's what they called it. They called observation hockey mantra. That's what they say. But there's a very clear difference between mantra in general and what that little girl and what Kobe was able to do, which was like suddenly be overflooded with like emotions of other people, and I think that's what Roger has too. Otherwise there would be no reason to really like specifically like because otherwise everyone who has the color of observation would be able to read one of those poneglyphs, but obviously that's not the case.
Right.
Is the color of observation the one where like you can predict attacks that are coming and shit?
Yeah, you can kind of sense people's like intentions, and you can see things happen before they actually do. It's kind of like the Sharingan.
Or if you're Enel, you can pinpoint a target from like a mile away.
Yeah.
And hit him with the lightning bolt. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Okay, we should wrap this up because we're about 48 minutes in. But here's one last hypothetical: who would win in this battle, Luffy as he is now, or end of pre-time skip Blackbeard?
You mean before he got the earthquake power?
Oh, you know what? That's a good classification. I wonder what the difference should be. Okay, let's say he gets the earthquake power.
Oh, then Blackbeard. With the earthquake power? That shit ain't no joke, man.
Let's do pre-earthquake.
Pre-earthquake. So right before he gets... Okay, so let's say at Impel Down, you know how he shows up with his posse? Like, at Blackbeard as he is at that point right there versus Luffy right now. Who would win in the battle? The thing that you have to consider is that 2-year time skip was a big deal for Luffy, right? But Blackbeard is like fucking 40 years old. So the guy has been in the new world for like
a long ass time.
Twice as long as Luffy has lived.
His
so like
development
you have to consider,
is probably not like as crazy as Luffy's is.
Yeah.
Even though
No, I think it is.
though
It probably has been pretty crazy though, because he's become a Yonko, right? So he's just gone even more crazy. It's like,
No. What I'm saying is that like, since Luffy is still young, his potential to get stronger is
a lot
way
more,
larger
okay.
than that of Blackbeard. It's like Blackbeard getting that earthquake power is obviously like way huger of an upgrade than like anything considered like in that short time period. But like, I think like Luffy's potential to become stronger is still even greater than Blackbeard's. Other than the main character fact.
I don't think that Blackbeard having the earthquake power, I don't think that that's really a big deal. Because he didn't have any strong control over it at the end of the pre-time skip. So I feel like, if anything, it would be a hassle for him. Like, he would try to be using it, and Luffy would just be dodging it. And he would use, like, an armament hockey, like, jet.
But it doesn't matter, man. Even if I don't know how to use a rocket launcher, if I have one and you don't, then I have a huge advantage over you.
Yeah, but Luffy's fast, though. He can escape that, especially if the guy doesn't know.
But fast don't matter on earthquakes, man. Earthquakes are like
it totally does,
quaking,
especially if you have the ability to stop it too, like hockey, right? Observational hockey and armament hockey, because fucking Whitebeard used it and he's mastered it for like near a century, and the admirals were able to completely dissipate the power in general with armament hockey.
But would you say that like Blackbeard's fighting prowess was that on the level of an admiral? Like,
no, wait, what? What do
you think? Like, I'm not talking about like their actual strength. Like, I'm talking about their ability to fight. You think Blackbeard is like fighting ability on the level of an admiral, like to see and react to a situation and fight based on what's going on?
Pre-time skip?
Yeah, pre-time skip.
No, I don't. Well, I don't know. Actually, that's another good hypothetical scenario.
Because
here's what I'm saying though, is that there's a huge difference between Blackbeard, who just got that power, and Whitebeard, who's had it almost his entire life.
Of course.
Yeah, and so he's going to be trying to use it, but I think, if anything, what I'm trying to get at is that he would probably benefit more by just using the power he's gotten used to, which is the black hole one, against Luffy. That's my opinion. I think he would stand a better chance if he focused on that specifically. If we're comparing Luffy as he is now to Blackbeard as he was at the end of the pre-time skip, I think that he would be better off focusing on the thing that he's been using since like his, I don't know, since he's
prime.
Yeah.
Since his prime.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we said we weren't going to talk about like hypothetical character issues in a fight. I thought we were talking about just who's stronger.
Okay, if we're talking about the stats, then. But okay, my answer for that, regardless of stats or personality or whatever, fighting prowess, I think Blackbeard would win, even at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I just think. I don't
Just
know,
to clarify, that time was.
He's so like. I don't know, man. His power is pretty OP.
He's fed.
Okay, let's think about it this way then, right? So, like, Blackbeard took on Ace, and he defeated him. Ace at the end of pre-time skip versus Luffy now, who would win? Oh, interesting.
Luffy now, I think.
You think Luffy would win, right?
With that hockey, man, it makes too big of a difference. That
I mean, they both have the same hockey.
Yeah, they both have the King's Disposition, and...
But it's how you use it.
But think about it like this:
yeah.
How many people did Ace have to fight where they were like had hockey on the scale of Luffy's? Like, probably not that many. Like, he probably would have got his ass kicked. Like, because how many people even in that universe have hockey on the scale of Luffy's? Like, I'd have to say not that much.
You could count them on one hand.
Yeah, exactly. So Ace probably would, but that's even more like character stuff. I was gonna say he's not used to fighting people with like insane hockey levels like Luffy has, you know. So that's why I would give the argument for Luffy now versus Ace back then.
So we have two Luffys now versus Ace then. Alex, you're the last one to round it up.
Wait, what? Two Luffys, what?
So I call Luffy winning now. So does Justin. What about you?
Luffy as he is now versus Ace back in pre-time skip.
Yeah.
I think it's Luffy now.
And what about Blackbeard? So I think Blackbeard would win. And you guys?
I want to say that Luffy would win. But I can understand why you don't think so. I think it's important, though, that, like, I think part of the thing with Blackbeard, right, is, like, I think it's totally valid in the sense of the logic to say that Blackbeard won't progress as fast as Luffy can because he's lived a lot longer. And that's a point I brought up. I said that his experience is a lot stronger. But I think that's part of what makes Blackbeard so kind of scary, is that even though the guy's kind of like old, like he's still like fucking quick-witted. He's really he's really smart. He's fucking snide as hell, right? He's like really, really conniving. And I feel like his mind is still young, right? Like he still is just as power hungry as he always has been, and that's allowed him to.
His gravitas is huge. He's got the D, right? So
yeah. So I mean, like his like I don't know his I don't think he's slowing down whatsoever. And so in this 2-year time skip, I'm sure he's gotten tremendously stronger than he has before. And I mean, part of that is because he can absorb as many devil fruits as he wants, apparently. But I don't know, man.
But
it's
in your hypothetical question, we're getting off topic. In your hypothetical question, who wins?
I'm saying that Luffy would win because I think it's still relevant. I think the tangent I was going on is still a little bit relevant because what I'm saying is like, it's fun to think about who would win in the past or whatever, but it's like the whole point is that people will continue going on as you go on as well. So I think that I feel like narratively speaking, like it's like it makes sense that Luffy would have been able to beat him back then because that's what he was fighting for. You know, like he wasn't able to do these things, and that's why his crew had to be dissipated. And so it feels almost unacceptable that after going through these tremendous amounts of emotion, losing his brother, losing his crew, that wouldn't pay off in him being able to take Blackbeard out in the past. But
you're doing what I was doing earlier. You have to look at it stats-wise.
I still think he would win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I was going to talk about, like, the situation of, like, the story, then I would say Luffy would win, obviously, because how many time skips is Oda even going to throw in there? Like, this time skip had to be a significant difference between power of him before and after.
Yeah.
He had to have gotten way stronger. Otherwise, this time skip would have been pointless. It would have just been, like, a vacation for Oda, really. Like, so, considering that the time skip happened, and considering that in the time skip he learned, like, what is, like, pretty much his strongest ability now, like, the control of Haki. Like, considering all that, Luffy would beat pre-time skip Blackbeard. Is it pre-time skip Blackbeard? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
All right, pre-time skip Blackbeard, Luffy would win. If we look at it in terms of situation,
so we got two Blackbeards. Oh no, 2 Luffys, 1 Blackbeard. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm going with Luffy, dude. Luffy had to have gotten way stronger, dude. Otherwise, this time skip would be so pointless. And like, I don't know. I believe in Luffy. I believe he's strong. Like that Haki, it ain't no joke. That like his like control over his rubber attacks too. Also like. That's crazy, like how much he can just do whatever he wants now. Like, I remember like him doing the jet pistol was like, oh fuck, you're hard, man. Like, now he's and the first time he ever did like a black like fist up the ass thing, like I thought that was like too crazy, and now he's doing like double black fists to Pika's face. Like, come on, man. Like,
you know, then again though, it's like it's funny to think about, but like Luffy struggled against that shark motherfucker on the Fishman Island. And I feel like if Blackbeard, even in pre-time skip, were to fight that shark thing, like he would just KO it like in 1 hit, you know.
That's what I'm saying, man.
but I don't know.
Blackbeard's power is insane. That's just my thing. His devil fruit is OP as F.
The dark fruit.
That's where I'm coming from.
Even like regardless of the earthquake fruit, the dark fruit is like kind of hard to explain in what it can do, and like kind of way overpowered. Like just like
it's like as OP as the gravity fruit should be.
Yeah. Pain. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so we're like 58 minutes now, so we should conclude this.
All right, that is our.
If you're listening, if you're listening, and maybe by the time you listen to this, we'll have some kind of like
structure.
Buggy-sama Fan Club email, so you can like email us what you guys think about these hypothetical situations and whatnot. Tell us your opinions any way you can, and we'd love to interact with you guys like that if you're listening.
And that is all for this week's sesh, and it was kind of like. We kind of went off topic just like we planned.
The first one. Okay, yeah.
Okay, I guess like we didn't plan to go like talk about anything, the things we talked about, but we planned to go a little off topic. So it turned out just kind of what I expected, I guess. Pretty cool. Special thanks to John Garcia for being in Japan. Shout outs to the authors for writing such awesome stories, specifically Oda. Always throwing curveballs. Yeah. It's like he can't even throw a straight ball. Like it's like not in his freaking ability set. Thanks to everyone for coming out, mainly Alex. Thanks to you at home or work for listening. We will see you next week. Bitch.
Peace.
Love you all. Bye.